Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday. I love Tuesday training day. Um, it's actually one of my favorite days. What's happening over here? Anyway, okay. Um, we have this last week of the month. We have this. And this is where I want things to be a little bit different. So instead of looking at things from the glass half full versus the glass half empty, I really want you guys to start being more positive in your thinking. Does that make sense? So, I've been having a lot of conversations with a good number of you, and in those conversations, we are talking about what you feel you're not getting to, what you feel you're not reaching, what you feel your goals are not doing for you, or all the things that are not, all the things that are not. There's a switch that we can flip that will help us to not only have more confidence in ourselves, but that confidence is actually going to spark us to do more with our business. Intrigued? Yes. All right, so I'm sharing with you guys today how to achieve more in your business. Achieving more in your business is going to include more income producing activities. It's going to help you to create habits that you will be able to put into practice, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, right? We're going to put all these things into action. And let me tell you the number one thing that you have to be able to achieve your goals and what success looks like to you and your businesses. You ready? It's a four-letter word, not that one. Time. Time. You guys know the sayings about time, right? It's the one thing that we will never get back. It's the one thing that we're always feeling like we're running short of is time, 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 time. It is truly your greatest asset, though, when it comes to your business. And when I say asset, that means when you are using it to its full advantage. So, different ways to look at this. I've been guilty of this in the past, and over time, I have learned how to stop these bad habits that I had created. One of those would be scrolling Facebook. Oh my gosh, you guys want to talk about a big fat waste of time? It would be scrolling Facebook. Now, if you're not running a business, and if this is not business income to you, if this is not something that is on a high priority for you, meaning your business, then by all means, scroll. Scroll, have fun, enjoy, take all the time that you want on social media, on the games, on the things, on the everything, right? But there's also a time and a place for being able to allow those things to happen. The way that I've trained myself is one of the best books that I've put into practice with my business is entitled Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I read this book 2.5 years ago. And I still have, I mean, obviously I still have my book, but I still have all the notes and the margins that I took. I took it with me when we had 2019 Scentsy family reunion in Austin, and he actually came on as a, and to be completely honest, I took the book because I was hoping I would get a chance to be able to maybe like get his signature because that is how good that book was for me and my business and how it helped me to turn the things that I was doing either into atomic habits or being able to see them for what they are, which was not applicable in my business. Things that I needed to cut out. I needed to trim the fat in a lot of pieces of my business. And being able to what James Clear defines as an atomic habit is something that is going to, what our topic is today, right? Help you achieve more. And you could apply this, of course, we're applying this to business today, but you could apply this to life. You could apply this to whether it's a health journey, a wellness journey, um, whatever it is. Having habits that you can help to be better, do better, and have more productive things is going to be a blessing for you. And a habit is something that we do continuously, right? You guys know that I love consistency. And I love it so much simply because it is the one thing that has by far defined my business. My business, there's hundreds of ways to run our business. My business is run a lot through social media. And so a lot of my time, a lot of my energy, a lot of my um, actions that I'm taking in my business are geared towards social media. I had to find a way to leverage what I was doing and make it better. Make it better. We have to, in order to get to what our goals are, we have to be able to first define our goal and to second, to bridge the gap towards our goal. There is in the Scentsy workstation, there is an amazing tool that we have. And Scentsy is actually, they've asked me to present on this topic a handful of times at world tours and at a family reunion one year over an action plan. And I could do a whole training, obviously, on action plan. But I'm going to encourage you guys to discover this for yourselves if you are wanting to achieve more in your business. So you can find this if you go to your workstation, just type in action plan in the toolbar, and it's going to actually give you a handout that you can actually print out. This handout is really, really great because this is going to help you define what that goal is. A lot of us might say that our goal is to promote, our goal is to get here, right? Goals are deeper than that. Goals are not a title, goals are not a place. A goal is something to where you can see yourself in that spot. And it needs to be rooted, just like a plant, it has to have roots into your why. Why are you doing your business? Why are you working it as a business? Having that action plan and learning how to utilize it to what I needed it to do was something that really helped me to define those goals. I was the person who started off Scentsy as a hobby. I liked the product. I wanted to try it. I was so negative in my self-talk towards myself that I kept telling myself over and over and over again that first year, 2 years of my business, that I was never going to be successful in my business. Now, success looks like a whole bunch of different things to a whole bunch of different people. Success to me was having a business income, or rather that full-time income out of my Scentsy. And having a network of people that I was able to collaborate with and work with. That's what success looked like to me. And I, for the longest time, told myself over and over and over again, I can't do that. I'm not that person. I want to be that person. I can't do that. I'm not that person. I'll never get to where she is. I will never get to earn those trips. I will never get to do all those things. Never. Now, that is nothing that I would ever go and say to somebody else. So, why in the world would I say that to myself? Is the big question, right? I had to really change the way that I talked to myself. I had to change that self talk because, in order to change what you're doing, you have to make different choices and you have to start doing different actions. That's a really big step to take, and it can be a very scary step to take. Let me tell you, it can be scary, it can be intimidating, and it can be like the mountain that you want to climb. So, I'm going to help you guys with some of the things that have helped me over time with my business. So, I've got about 5 things here. These are my top 5 things on how to achieve more in your business. Okay. Number 1, make a list of tasks that you want to accomplish. Kind of sounds like, oh, I do that. And maybe you do. Maybe you already do that. And if so, that's awesome. You're already halfway there. I can tell you that there's weeks where I'm better at that than others, but the weeks that I'm not as productive with my time are the weeks that I also notice that there's not much growth in my business. That was mind blowing when I sat back and I actually realized that. I realized and I was able to see that the weeks that I was not doing those atomic habits, that I was not making the list, that I was not following through, were the weeks that nothing happened. They were also the weeks that that negative self-talk would creep in. And I would then compare myself to others. I would then tell myself that I wasn't able to do these things. I'm not going to be able to promote. I'm not going to be able to get that sales goal that I'm looking for. I'm not. You guys have heard me say this 100 times, if not 1,000 times, that our brains are stupid. They have the capacity to do so much for us. But the problem is that we are telling our brains what to think and what to believe. So, again, when that self talk is creeping in, then that's what our brain believes. And then all of a sudden, our entire mindset is all about how we can't, or we're not good enough, or we're never going to. That's where it leads us in those directions. So, because I'm able to look back and see and make the correlation, have that bird's eye view, right, on my business to be able to say, okay, this week, here's what happened. This week, here's what I did. Here were the results. What can I change? What do I need to keep doing? What worked well? What didn't work well? There's a lot of different variables in that, right? But I will tell you, one of the main things in that is making a list. Making a list. Number 2, it's easy to make a list. I can make lists all day long. But number 2, we got to start putting things into action with those, right? So number 2, I want you to put a star next to the most important tasks, and I want you to tackle those first. Tackle those first. Have you guys ever heard, and I believe it was Mark Twain, and I mean, it's a quote I will never forget. It's one that's always lived with me, is eat the frog. And I don't remember if it was in one of his books. I honestly don't remember. Um, but the concept behind eat the frog is do the thing that's the scariest to you the first thing in the day. And I guarantee you that your day is going to go much better. Let me give you an example about that. So, unpack that for a second. So, doing the scariest thing first. I don't know about you guys. I have anxiety. Hello, I'm Jacqui. I have a whole big thing of anxiety that lives inside me every single day. And that anxiety tends to get riled up and poked and prodded whenever I have something that I'm dreading. When I have something that I'm like, oh, I gotta do this today and I don't want to do it. Whether that's the laundry, whether that's cleaning the house, whether that's maybe for you in your business, maybe it's getting on the phone and calling people. That's one of the things for me. I'm like, that is not what I use my phone for. Um, those are the scary things to me in my business, right? So those are the tasks that not only are the most important, they're going to make an impact in my business, but they're also the things that I tend to build up a lot of stress about. And I put a lot on top of that. And what happens during your day if you are filled and consumed with stress and anxiety and all the things? If you're anything like me, then you're not going to get very much accomplished. And if you do get things accomplished, then it's not going to be to like your full capacity. That's how it is for me. I hate the feeling of failure. I don't like to feel that I've failed. I don't like the feeling of not accomplishing what I've set my mind out to do. And so I've learned to eat the frog. So, what you want to do with your list is you want to put the star next to the things that are maybe scary to you, but also at the same time have a big impact in your business. So maybe that is doing those follow ups. Maybe that's reaching out and asking people to join your team. Maybe that's doing your doing coaching calls with your team members. Whatever that is, if that's the scary thing for you, then when it's on your list, you need to put a star next to it and you need to make sure that those are the things you're doing first. And then the rest of your day or the rest of your week is going to run so much smoother. Trust me. And I guarantee you, you will get more accomplished because you will know that the weight of that frog or the weight of that scary thing that you didn't want to do, the thing you were dreading, is now gone. And now you can focus and put your full attention into everything else. Life changing. Life changing. Number 3. This is a big one, you guys. A big one. And a lot of you that I talk to, this is one of the things that maybe we've talked about. So if this sounds familiar, that's okay. Eliminate distractions while working. Shut off notifications for social media while you're working. Don't shoot the messenger. I promise you, though, I promise you that there are distractions that are going to be happening. I personally, if I am working, if I'm pulling reports, if I'm doing follow ups, if I'm doing an income producing activity, then that is when the do not disturb goes on my phone. That is when I will silence notifications. And that means I have to manually go in, right? And I have to manually turn off those notifications. But as I'm doing it, I'm even already like feeling that I have this moment where I can get things accomplished. If you're a mom, right, then you know, like when the kids are gone, you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to be gone for 2 hours with dad or their aunt or their uncle or whatever, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many things I can get done. That's the feeling. That's the and those distractions, whether we want to acknowledge them or not, are just that. They are distractions. And there is a time and a place to be able to answer those messages and have those conversations on social media and do all the things, right? That would be something for your list. I personally do a lot of time blocking. in my schedule. I work my business full time. So for me, time blocking works because that is just, I'm a structured person. I need structure. I have to have it in order to be my best self. And so in order to do that, one of the things that I will do is I will time block. And from this time to this time, it is spent answering emails, answering messages, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or on YouTube. I will carve that time out because it never fails. Never fails. I mean, now I've gotten into a great habit with it. But before, when I was still learning how to turn off the distractions and only focus on what I was doing, it would never fail. I would be like right in the middle of maybe rewriting some documents to be able to send to new team members, or creating things or whatever it is, or editing a video that I needed to get out because I'd already put it off for like a whole day, right? Never fails. That message would come through. And what would I do? I would stop what I was doing and I would answer the message. And 9 times out of 10, let's be honest, it was a message that definitely, it could have waited until I was done. Here's another eye-opening fact for you is that for years, yay, Roxy, for years, I really had a lot of pride in myself. And it was actually something that was on my CV, right? Multitasking. I'm so good at multitasking. Let me be the one to break it to you. Multitasking is actually not a good thing. Not a good thing. And I say that because I too was a multitasker for most of my life. And like I said, I led with that. When I would go on interviews or things like that, when I would talk to people, oh, I'm so good at multitasking. Here's the deal with multitasking, right? If you're multitasking, then that means that your 100% attention is not focused on whatever the task is at hand. It's now percentaged out into those different things that you're doing. So, for example, maybe I'm doing follow ups and I'm writing people back or I'm answering those messages, right? And then I'm also getting texts, or I'm also getting other messages, or I'm getting notifications from this app or whatever, right? And then I would stop and do this or do that or do this or do that, or oh, let me go fix this real quick, or oh, let me go start the dishwasher real quick, right? Have you guys ever read the book If You Give a Mouse a Cookie? Yeah, it's so true, right? We can get lost in those other things. And so when we're popping from this to this to this to this to this and multitasking, then the thing is that the thing that we really set out to do or set down to actually put our intention behind is now not getting 100% of our attention, which means it's not really going to be the best way to spend that time. It was ridiculous for me. I come from a corporate world, right? Do you know how many meetings I have attended throughout my life that could have been emails? Talk about a distraction. A distraction can be a meeting that I don't really need to focus on at the moment, or it can be a huge waste of time. Not that the intention there for that meeting was not good, but at the same time, I have to be focusing on my business because, hello, my business is my number one priority. That's my income. That's how I make my money. And so, while there's a time and a place where, okay, yes, if I've gotten all of this done, I will allow myself to do this, or I will go on and I will, join in on this activity. But if not, my focus has to be on me and my business. It's hard to do. Number 4, and we're going to go on about um, what to put down on your task list. So don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Um, yeah, always be learning. Number four, always be learning. Always be learning. I talked about this during happy hour this past week, and it was so true because I know because I get messages from consultants all over Scentsy, from just started to they've been doing this as long as I have or longer, or um, they're thinking about joining or what have you, right? And one of the things that inevitably will come up in those conversations is that, oh, well, you seem to know how to do everything. And my response back is always, I do not know everything, first of all. And for two, I am always learning new things. If you are the smartest person in the room, you need to find a new room. Have you heard that phrase? That means that what is happening is that you're no longer going to be helping yourself to better your business so your business can achieve more. Instead, you start focusing on where other people are. And that's good if you're there to help other people. But again, if our main goal is to achieve more in my business, then that means I need to be surrounding myself with people who know more than I do. So every single week, I am on different training calls. Every single week, I am picking up a different book. Every single week, I am watching a new training video on YouTube. These are the ways that I train, right? One of my other great things to help with just working on myself is listening to podcasts. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's the other thing too, right? And I get this a lot when I tell people, you need to always be learning, and they're like, "Well, I don't have time to do all that plus work on my business." All right, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. We all do. We all have completely different lives too. I guarantee you though, if you really look at it from that bird's eye view, right? I guarantee you can figure out a way to be able to work it into your life. Guarantee it. When I was working in my corporate job, I was working 40, 50 plus hours a week. Um, I hated that job, but I was working so much. And then I still had to be mom. I still had to do everything around the house. I still had to get dinner ready. I still had to clean. I still had to do the laundry. Still had to be there for my family. Still had to take care of um, my mom and everything going on, right? All of those things still had to happen. And so I was always looking for ways to be able to fit things in and around my schedule. And one of my favorite ways to do that, and I still do it to this day, is if I'm in the car and it's going to be maybe at least a 5 or a 10 minute drive, whether it's, running errands, whether like last night I had to go to the post office, I had to stop by and pick up a prescription. So what did I do? I could have jammed out to some music. I totally could have. And I totally wanted to too, because there's a new album that I've been wanting to listen to. But I'm looking to grow my business, right? And so what did I do? I threw on a podcast. Now, maybe that's not specific to my business because it was more of like a, um, working on yourself, personal development type of a podcast, right? But what does that do for my business? It helps me to work more and be more intentional with my time because, again, we cannot pour from an empty cup, right? I can't even tell you how many times I've been cooking dinner and I've put a video on YouTube and watched it well, more or less listened, right? Maybe glanced over and watched, but more or less listened while I was cooking dinner. When I go to the gym, all I listen to is either YouTube trainings or podcasts. That's what I do. You have to be able to find those times. And so if you do have the time to sit down and actually do one, then do one. If you don't, then look for the different ways that you can work it in and around your schedule. And that just very well may be, hey, while I'm vacuuming, I'm going to throw in one of my AirPods and I'm going to turn on that training that I missed from last week from that amazing superstar director. And I'm going to listen to that while I vacuum the house. It works. It works. Number 5, and then we'll talk about our lists, okay? Number 5, organize work and keep you productive. I love me some organization. Does this mean that everything is organized all the time? No. But what I'm referring to, and you guys probably know the same thing that I'm about to say, right? When you have an organized and efficient workspace, whatever your workspace is, you guys know I've had many, many workspaces over the years. I've had it to where it was the kitchen table, it was the end of the couch, it was a corner in my bedroom, um, it was a small part in the house, right? I've had many different office workspaces that I've had to use over time. No matter if it's a filing, and when I say filing cabinet, I still have the cabinet, by the way, and it's still reminds me of where I started with my business. It's just this 3-drawer plastic drawer cart, right? That is what was my office for the first 3 years of my business. That was my office, was this little cart. And when I say office, that was where my packing supplies were for packing up orders. That's where I kept my business cards that I printed out. That's where all of my stock that I would have, like some bars from the scent of the month or things like that, right? That I had on hand, things to take to home parties, different games that I played at home parties, right? My testers were in there. It's still halfway labeled, like on the outside of it. Even with just that, I made sure it was organized. And once a week, I would sit there, I would pull everything out. And I don't know about you guys, but there's times where I would just like throw in scent of the month or warmer of the month flyers, right? Things like that. Maybe I'd have old catalogs in there. So once a week, I would sit down and I'd pull everything out of the drawers and then I would organize it. Just the simple act of organizing that space was enough to give me that moment to say, okay, that's organized. So now my business feels organized. You're going to get a lot more done. A lot of this also comes from the fact, again, I was working full time. I was trying to run a business. Madison was a lot younger, right? My older kids were a lot younger. My husband and I worked different shifts. Literally, we did not see each other during the week. He worked nights. Well, in the beginning, I worked nights. He worked days. Then it switched and he worked nights and I worked days. We literally did not see each other. I had so much going on and I had so many reasons to stop or to quit or to say, I can't do all of this. But at the end of the day, I knew what my goal was. I knew where I wanted to be. And that was the focus that I had to keep was how do I get there? These are the things that are going to get me there. And so some days, some weeks, it maybe look like I had 10 minutes, 10 extra minutes that I could actually do Scentsy work, okay? Because that was after work, after dinner, after cleaning the house, after giving Madison her bath and putting her to bed and all the things. And then I had to get up, get some sleep to be able to wake up at 5 a.m. the next morning, right? And do it all over again. But I would carve out, even if it was 10 minutes, to work my business. And I will tell you that one of the things I learned is being able to have an organized space to do that. Because for a long time, when I would have that 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes only to work my business, I would spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes getting all the materials I needed to be able to just do those samples that I wanted to do. And then what would happen? Next thing I know, oh crap, now it's time to start dinner. And I can't even do those samples now. If you're organized, then you can actually work your business with less hours. I did a whole podcast on just that, how to work your business with 3 hours a week. Only 3 hours a week. Can you dedicate 3 hours a week to your business? I guarantee you can. I did it with a full-time job, 3 kids, a husband, a house, and all other kinds of crap going on. Health issues and the whole 9 yards. You can do that, and you can give yourself that. Podcasts. I will totally list some podcasts in the group that I'd love to listen to. I'm all about my podcasts. All right, so let me give you guys some tips for your list, okay? I believe that this is in the team Google Drive that I have, but if not, I will check as soon as this is over, and we'll make sure they are there. But I believe that they already are. There's a daily do list, okay? Take the to out of it because we already know you're going to it. You're going to do it, okay? You're just going to do it daily. So, key priorities of a healthy business: increasing your PRV, sponsoring new consultants, developing leaders, and expanding your network. Those are our key priorities, okay? They're on this sheet. Your key priorities to achieving more in your business, right there, right there, right there, right there. All right, so on our daily do list, we have log your numbers, check the news tab, check in with any hostesses, Amy or other follow-ups. So however you do your follow-ups, if you don't use Amy, then however you do follow-ups, posting to your team page, if you have one, post to your business page, if you have one, post to your VIP page or group, if you have one, post to Instagram stories. Stories in particular, I should probably also like slash that and add reels in too, right? Because if you're really trying to grow your business on social media, stories and reels are where it's at. So we can talk about that in another training. But those should be your daily do's, okay? Your daily do's. And then what you can do is really start to focus your energy on the rest of your week, right? So if we're doing this daily, and there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even Saturday and Sunday, because hello, from one working mom to probably another, there were times where Saturday was like my main time to be able to get any business work in, right? Because throughout the week, it was maybe 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there. If I'm lucky, it was an hour. It was really great. But your weekly lead list, you really want to be following up on your leads. Now, with leads, that needs to be customers and also your new sponsors or your potential team members, right? However you want to look at that. So you need to be having a list of people that you are ready to talk to and share the opportunity with, and with your customers and your hosts that you're already doing business with. You have to have those lead lists. You have to have them. Down here at the bottom is a brain dump. Very important. I have brain dumps. I did them for years when I would bullet journal and have my paper journal, right? Everything has a brain dump, including my digital planner. Okay. There, I have a whole notepad that is just my brain dump. And that's exactly what it's titled, is brain dump. Because I don't know about you, but when I am brainstorming, when I'm thinking about things, all I have is like these little raindrops of ideas, right? And so I've learned over time that the way to actually utilize all those little things that you're like, hey, what about this? Hey, what about this? Is to really just write it all down. Because if you're anything like me, in one ear and out the other, like in my own ear and out the other is really, really how it goes. But brain dump. So stay creative, flex your brain muscles. How can you meet new people, generate new leads, keep your business moving forward this week? Throw down some ideas and extra. It gives you here a whole section where you can just brain dump those ideas. Okay, a whole section. At the very bottom of this daily do list is your next week. What, and you guys know I love this question. What worked this week? What didn't? What will you do different? So it literally lays it out for you here at the bottom, okay? To do that, stop, reflect, and then put back into your business for next week, okay? Because I'm going to be completely honest with you. There's going to be some weeks where this is just either completely blank or is a hot mess. And that's okay. Not every week is going to be a shining week, right? It's just not. That's the way life goes. It's the way the cookie crumbles, okay? But at the end of the week, you're going to have that opportunity to say, this is what didn't go well. I didn't have time because I had some health issues happening and I had to take some days off, or life happened and I had to deal with some other things, right? All of those things are okay. But what we have to do in order to achieve more in our business is to be able to stay on track and on line with our goals. Because once you get off the line of your goals, it's really hard to get back in line. It's okay to take a step off, right? Think of it like you're running on the treadmill. You're running on the treadmill, right? And you're huffing and you're puffing and you're moving and you're grinding and oh my gosh, you're sweating. And you're like, I need a break. So you step off the treadmill, right? You just let the treadmill run. It's okay. And you calm your breath. You catch your breath. You wipe the sweat off of your face, right? And then if you're anything like me, you do a little mental talk. You got this. And then you put your feet back on the treadmill. That's what this is. That is your end of week reset. Step off the treadmill. How's it going? Wipe your brow. Let's figure this out and let's move forward. All right. So there's your daily do list. All right. Weekly habits. Weekly. Okay. Weekly habits. Sales, sponsoring, coaching, prospecting and networking, and other. So this is going to be a really good starting place for you to sit down and actually figure out what are the things that you need to do in your business to be more consistent and to get things done. So under sales, what does that look like for you? Is that Facebook parties? Is that reaching out to customers who have ordered in the past? Is that booking more parties, right? Sponsoring, what does that look like to you? Is that conversations? Is that following up with those leads, right? Remember, we've got our lead list on that daily do, right? Who have we started a conversation with about joining joining our team or wanting to share that opportunity with? How are we going to do that? Coaching. If you only have one team member, and especially if you have more than one, you need to be coaching. I cannot stress that enough. Again, we're in a business mindset right now, right? So if you're watching this, we're business mindset. If this is a hobby, then this may or may not even mean anything to you. But when you are focused on a business mindset, that business income, when you've got those as your goals and that's how you're defining your success, then coaching needs to be something that is integrated into your business. Integrated. Okay. So coaching, what do those tasks look like? Maybe that's having conversations. Maybe it's just doing a chat back and forth. Maybe that's how you guys talk, right? Whatever that looks like. Prospecting and networking. So where are you looking for your new customers? Where are you looking for your new team members? Where are you looking for those people that you can collaborate with who are other Scentsy consultants? Remember, never be the smartest person in the room, right? Where are those people, or who are those people, and what are the things you're going to do in networking? You can have conversations with other consultants. Did you know? especially conversations with consultants who are at the level you want to be at. Just saying. All right, and then there's obviously a space for other because I'm sure that there is more than just what is here on this list. Okay, we're not done yet. Monthly habits. All right, so again, it's going to be the same thing, but it's more on a monthly level. Monthly level. So I actually keep a Trello board. It's just one of the ways that I like to organize. I'm very organized. I'm very structured. So I have all of these in my Trello board. And so I do. I have a monthly task list of things that I'm doing every single month towards these goals, right? These are the things, these are the ways that I'm going to be able to have that success in my business. So I have to know what they are. So we're going to do that. Now, don't think that I wouldn't give you ideas. All right, so here's your habit ideas. I got a whole list of ideas for what to put on these lists, okay? In sales, we really want to be focusing on those income producing activities, IPAs, whatever you want to call them, okay? Income producing activities for sales looks like in-person parties, follow-up, pouch basket parties, online parties, mystery hosts, Scentsy club, open house, right? All the things. We also have the low impact or lead producing part of it. So that would be more of what I like to call the busy work, right? The things that need to be done, but overall are helping towards the main goals, right? In the parties, in the online parties, even with Scentsy Club, even with the open house, whatever it is that you're doing, right? Samples, going live on Facebook with products, personal specials, scheduling your VIP posts, scheduling your business page posts, sending a newsletter. And it doesn't have to be one you create. Remember, Scentsy does a newsletter for you. Hello, once a month, that newsletter goes out for you. All you have to do is customize it. Creatively market your LTOs, right? Your limited time offers, right? Like we just had the Father's Day collection. We still have the summer collection, right? So marketing those things and maintenance when it comes to sales looks like thank yous to your customers and your team, sending happy mail, generate content for social media, check your workstation daily. Okay. We have the same thing for sponsoring. So things to put down on your sponsoring list over here, right? Flipping an income producing activity would be flipping hosts and team members, sharing the opportunity with a friend, following up on leads. Some of the maintenance there, post positively. Focus on your mindset. Find an onboarding system, okay? Coaching, income producing, even if you only have one team member. Okay, one-on-one group coaching with your group, that means with your group, okay? But with team members, really. Connect relationally. So connecting and having relationships, building those, identifying leaders, coaching intentionally, focusing on your performers, and recognizing what you want repeated. Not everybody's version of success looks like yours. Maybe your version of success is $2,000 PRV every single month. For someone else, especially somebody just starting their business, it very well may look like just getting active every single month or hitting maybe their leader above, right? And getting to that $500 mark every single month consistently, right? Those are the behaviors you want to start recognizing when you're coaching. I'm not going to go into all of this because you're going to see this whole list, but prospecting and networking, the income producing activities for that would be contacting your leads, following up with event contacts, finding events, or finding fundraisers. That was like a tongue twister. Okay. So I've got ideas and I've got lists. Like I said, they should be on the Google Drive. If not, I will double check that as soon as we're done here and make sure that they are. So you have these. But I'm going to encourage you guys to make lists. I know it sounds, at least to me, it was like a list. Like I really need to make a list. Like I know what I need to do in my business, right? No, I needed to make a list and I needed to stick to that list because that's how you build those habits. which become atomic habits. And those are the things that you're going to do consistently, because doing those things consistently every single week, every single day, every single month, right? All of those things is what is going to help you to get to those goals, to achieve the success that you've outlined for yourself. That's it. Yes, I have my Trello board. I think I can share that out actually. I don't think I've shared that. I can definitely share that for anybody who might be interested in taking a look at that. Um, I just love the Trello boards just for that reason, because um, I'm just more digital that way, and that's how my business works best for me. But if you're pen and paper, if you're doing a notebook, whatever it is, right? So you can either print these things out, you can recreate your own and make them in Canva or whatever, and then print them out, or leave it digital, whatever, right? These are really, really great. And that will help you to get into the framework and the mindset of moving your business forward and focusing on the things that need focus. Now, with all this being said, at the end of the day, there is still time for you, because if you're working smarter and not harder, then you're going to find that you actually have more free time to do the things that you want to do that bring you joy, right? Maybe that is scrolling Facebook. Maybe that is, for me, one of the things I love to do is scroll Pinterest. I love my Pinterest. It is truly like my decompress time, okay? So if I've maybe had a long day, or I've been staring at Excel spreadsheets and running reports and doing all the things, right? Then there's a time where my brain is just like, you need to decompress. And one of those ways is Pinterest, but I really make it more of a reward for myself. Okay. So it's like, okay, if I can get these three things done today, then tonight after dinner, I'm going to sit down and I'm just going to scroll Pinterest for like an hour. Oh, bring me joy. Okay. And then, of course, if you want to do the cherry on the top, for me, it looks like scrolling Pinterest and also having Schitt's Creek playing on Netflix in front of me on the TV. That's like my golden spot. That's where I love to be. That's where I love to be. And yes, I've watched the whole series. I'm not going to tell you how many times I have watched the series because um, it would be embarrassing. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, so this week, this week, you're going to take some of these ideas, because this is our last week of the month, right? So I want you to take these ideas. I want you to start formulating a plan to how you can incorporate these into your business. So starting on June 1st, this is why I'm telling you all about this, and we're doing this today. I really, really wanted to give you guys time to prep yourself, because, again, I know that's how I work, right? I have to prep myself to be able to be ready to do the things and move forward. So this way you have all the way until June 1st. And on June 1st, it's the start of a new month, but along with that is going to be the next 6 months of your business. This is a really big deal, okay? And this is how I look at my business, is 6 months at a time. I give myself a 6 month goal as to what I want to achieve during those 6 months. Now, you really need to dig deep into that. It can't just be a promotion. It can't just be it needs to be rooted. It needs to be rooted in your why. Remember, this is my full-time job. So my why is providing for my family. That is my why. So what am I going to do to make that happen? I have to know what I'm going to be doing. I have to know how I'm going to lay things out. And so if you want to take a ride with me and you want to achieve more in your business, then I want you to try and do this for you. Don't do it for me. You're not doing it for me. You're not doing it for your sponsor. You're not doing it for whoever, right? You're not doing it for other people. You are doing this for you. Make a promise to yourself. That's the most important promise you will ever make, is to yourself. Make a promise to yourself that you are going to put intention behind making lists, doing those income producing activities, and sticking to those tasks. If you start this on June 1st, I want you to write down on June 1st that daily log, right? So I want you to write down what your, well, it's the first of the month, but you could use like the end of the month for May, whatever, for what your personal sales are, right? Where did you end the month in May, right? Write down what your personal sales are. Write down what your group wholesale volume is. Write down how many people you have on your team. Write down how many emerging leaders you have out of your team members, right? Write those things down. And every single month, you're going to make and stick to your list, right? Every week, every month, right? We're going to go through all the things. And then come December, you're going to pull this list back up and you're going to look at it. And you're going to look to see over 6 months of being consistent in doing income producing activities, cutting off distractions, focusing and drilling into your business, looking for the different ways that you can push your business forward, right? Remember, our priorities of our healthy business is increasing your PRV, sponsoring new consultants, developing leaders, and expanding your network. So at the end of 6 months in December, you're going to look back and you're going to say, how far did I come? And I guarantee you, you're going to surprise yourself. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with everybody else. It has to do with you. Are you ready? We got this. It's going to be a great end of month. It's going to be a great new month, but it's also going to be a great start to the next 6 months of your business. Can you dedicate 6 months of work and focused activity into your business? I bet you can. And if you do, trust me, you are going to achieve what you want to achieve. So let's do it together. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.